Georgia State joins more than 600 colleges and universities in implementing campus smoking bans. We found out how students feel about it and how police will enforce the new ban.
The plus-minus grading system could change soon. We get student opinion and find out what professors think about it.
And students are constantly jaywalking on campus. Find out how university police have begun regulating this increasing problem. Good evening, Georgia State. I'm Cody Long.
And I'm Bilal Ali.
First on Panther Report tonight, in an effort to promote the public's health as well as GSU students and staff, the Georgia State University Senate approved a ban on smoking and tobacco use. Here's reporter Jayla Bell with more on this story.
The Library Plaza is a familiar place for students to wind down and read a book. For some, even smoke a cigarette. On Thursday, October 18th, the Faculty Senate approved a smoking ban in which prohibits students and staff from smoking on campus.
When the referendum passed, when the motion passed, apparently it went into effect that moment, which in many ways has caused a lot of issues because people don't know how to respond. If you go to the courtyard right now, there's people out there smoking. As far as the enforcement piece goes, it's really up to us right now because the GSU police only enforce state laws. And currently, the Georgia State smoking ban is not a state law.
This controversial issue has been brought forth in Senate discussions for the past 2 years. Obviously, the 25-foot rule, which prohibits smoking within 25 feet of all entrances and exit, has not been effective enough for those non-smoking students and staff.
Yes, I feel that a smoking ban in this large university is something that's needed. You know, because people who smoke have no regard for other people. They smoke wherever they smoke and blow, they smoke where they're going to blow it, regardless of who it affects, who it hits. And like you said, secondhand smoking is very precarious. It's more dangerous than the actual people smoking.
I think that the smoking ban comes from an idealistic place, but it's by and large impractical, simply because of the population of students on campus that actually smoke. It doesn't seem like it's possible to enforce something like that when it's such a widespread thing.
As a result of the recent smoking ban, accommodations will be made for those residents who do use tobacco. University housing will designate areas where smoking is permitted. Reporting from the Library Plaza, Jayla Bell, Panther Report.
2 Georgia State students were robbed last Friday in the same area on campus. Police say one of the victims was approached around 3 in the afternoon on Auburn Avenue under the I-75-I-85 bridge. The unknown individual pointed what appeared to be a gun to the victim's back and demanded his wallet. He turned over the wallet to the suspect, who then fled. Later that night, a student reported that while walking along Edgewood Avenue with her friends, 3 unknown men dressed in dark clothing snatched her school-issued iPad and ran away. If you have any information about these crimes, you're asked to call GSU Police at 404-413-2100 or the tip line at 404-413-3211. Remember, you can request a safety escort by calling GSU Police, and an officer will walk or drive you to your destination.
Thieves strike again. For the second time this year, copies of the school newspaper, The Signal, were stolen from newsstands. Surveillance video shows 3 men walking outside the bookstore after grabbing hundreds of copies of the paper just before 3 p.m. on Tuesday, October 30th. This was just hours after they hit newsstands. The Signal has filed a police report with University Police. You may remember back in May when a similar incident occurred when a group of females dumped about 250 copies of the paper into recycle bins. If you recognize any of the men on your screen, or if you have any information about what happened, give the Signal office a call at 404-413-1615.
This was the last week for pageant hopefuls to attend one of the mandatory orientation dates in order to compete in the 2013 Miss GSU pageant. The pageant will consist of 5 phases of competition, which include interview, swimsuit, evening wear, onstage question, and talent. The winner will be awarded with a crown, sash, scholarship money, and the opportunity to compete in the 2013 Miss Georgia pageant. The pageant will be held February 9th of next year. In other campus news, this year's GSU College of Law's Urban Fellows program has 73 members. making it one of the most popular interdisciplinary programs on campus. The Urban Fellows program consists of top graduate students at GSU who are interested in issues concerning urban growth. Group members will participate in a series of speaker events, community outreach projects, and field trips in order to analyze the environmental issues and challenges of different cities.
Social media has become a vital part of society, offering various ways to link people together. Georgia State students are finding ways to use social media to their advantage. Stephanie Twum has this story.
Social media such as Facebook and Twitter help students stay connected with their school and with each other. It's quick, easy, and entertaining.
Yes, I feel like as a college student coming up in this new generation, it's very important for you to be online, connecting with people. They call it networking. I just call it building relationships.
You know, get updates, pictures of events I missed or events I went to.
GSU students are able to access GSU's official Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and learn more about the organizations, sporting events, and guest speakers.
The goals that we try to accomplish on the Facebook page are to bring general awareness to prospective students, current students, and alumni about what's going on campus on a day-to-day basis.
Is it effective for getting our news out? Yes, we post our events. We post after the event. We post more pictures of the event. Are our alumni engaging with us? To some degree, yes, but again, it's not as broad an engagement as we would like.
Students can also find out what's going on in our campus through their student email account. GSU used this form of social media to announce their $10,000 cash drop that was presented by the Georgia Credit Union Bank at the October 6th football game. Were you aware of the $10,000 cash drop at the football game last month?
No, I'm clueless.
Liking GSU's Facebook pages and following them on Twitter is a great way to get connected with our campus. So take out your phones and get connected. Reporting from Library Plaza, Stephanie Twum, Panther Report.
With signals informing pedestrians when it's safe to cross the street, jaywalking is still an issue on GSU campus. University police have taken notice of the increasing problem and plan to enforce regulation. Reporter Olivia McBride has more.
Jaywalking occurs very frequently in high traffic areas. Most GSU students have done it at one time or another, but recently GSU campus police have started cracking down on it. Since jaywalking on campus affects many students, we decided to go find out why people jaywalk, how drivers feel about it, and what the consequences are from campus police.
I definitely jaywalk.
Why?
Well, you can just cross the street. You don't have to wait for the light to go if there's no cars coming.
It can be a little annoying, especially when they walk against the light. It can impede the flow of traffic. But what can you do? You can't just run in front of them or hit them, so just have to deal with it.
The ramifications for jaywalking are receiving a warning, and then if continued, the student will receive a citation. So far, for fall 2012, there have been 3 citations given out and 815 warnings. Olivia McBride, Panther Report.
GSU students can now register to be on waitlist for MDEC, TDEC, and LOFT's non-resident parking permits for spring 2013. Students have until November 18th to register and can do so at www.gsu.edu/parking.
And because parking can be costly, bicycling has become popular in recent years, despite the fact that Atlanta isn't a very cycling-friendly city. Reporter Stefanich Haynock fills us in on the new app City Council hopes will increase and improve cycling in the city.
The City of Atlanta has recently created an app that helps promote and improve cycling in Atlanta. This phone app transmits routes cyclists take and obstacles they face on those routes. City planners can then see everything you do, helping them with future improvements.
Just with all the construction that's going on right about now, it's pretty hard for cyclists, just with all the roads that are being shut down and then the traffic increasing. It's just getting hard to travel around with a bike.
I've done a combination of MARTA commuting with my bicycle, and there are definitely challenges. The bicycling environment needs to be improved so that bicyclists can be more comfortable on the streets in the city of Atlanta, and the safety margins are increased. And I think that overall will really do a lot to bring more people out and have more bicycling.
City leaders developed the cycling app from a grant and with help from Georgia Tech. Atlanta leaders are not only working to improve routes, but also to double the number of people biking to work daily by 2016.
I would like to see a couple of changes actually, like maybe more bike routes and then maybe more bike shops for just tune-ups.
I really commend the city for taking this step. And I think it's going to give them great information. I think it's going to help people feel involved, that they are playing a role in improving the city's bicycling environment. And it's going to show their tremendous usage of bicycling that's already started and is only going to increase over the year.
Atlanta's new free cycling app, Cycle Atlanta, is available on Apple and Android devices. It is created to help improve the cycling experience and make it safer.
I've downloaded the app. It's right here on my iPhone. I'm waiting to take a bicycle trip so I can begin using it myself.
Panther cyclists, make sure you download the new free Cycle Atlanta app. It will help city planners know exactly what to do to help improve your ride. This is Stephanie Chaynock of GSTV Panther Report.
You may have heard some gunfire this past Thursday, but don't worry. Atlanta police say it was a simulated gun battle for a movie being filmed in underground Atlanta. Police say the movie is titled Ride Along. The film, starring Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, wrapped up filming this past Monday and is scheduled to be released next year.
The average Georgia Power bill will increase about 44 cents a month starting in January. Georgia Power, which represents about 2.5 million customers, notified state regulators in October that it would be applying for a residential rate reduction because the amount it pays for fuel has fallen 7%. The utility can't profit from lower fuel costs and must pass those savings on to customers. But Georgia Power officials said that residential bills will actually rise to pay for costs associated with new construction and energy efficiency programs.
Georgia Governor Nathan Deal has selected a committee of 22 teenagers to instruct other teens on how to be safe drivers. The goal of the Governor's Commission on Teen Driving is to reduce the number of teen crashes, injuries, and deaths on state highways. Vehicle accidents are the top cause of deaths for teens in Georgia.
2 Atlanta police officers died Saturday after their police helicopter crashed while looking for a missing child. It happened just after 10:30 p.m. at the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Hamilton E. Holmes Drive. Atlanta Police Chief George Turner said no one else was injured in the crash. Turner said the helicopter was flying low at the time when it clipped power lines, causing the helicopter to crash. He said both officers died upon impact. The child they were searching for was later found safe. The investigation unit predicts that it will take at least 9 months to discover the actual cause behind the fatal crash. Coming up next, with obesity at an all-time high in the U.S. and students living busy lives, especially with finals coming up, we find out where some healthy food options are on campus. Plus,
is Georgia State revising its plus-minus grading system? I'm inside the SGA office with details coming up next.
Good morning, Atlanta.
Does it feel like your alarm clock goes off earlier every morning? Do you have trouble waking up? Have you seen a doctor about this? If not, you can get your daily dose of caffeine at Saxby's.
GSU plus-minus grading system at Georgia State could change in the future. Stephanie Joy sat down with the Vice President of Academic Affairs and has more on this story.
Universities and four-year colleges like Georgia State have gravitated towards adding plus-minus to the letter grade system. But how do the students really feel about it?
I believe that the plus-minus grading system is adequate for students, especially if you can get over 4.0 or if a B plus can really help affect your grade higher than like a regular B. But I do believe that professors need to be more consistent with the grading process.
The Student Government Association prides themselves on being the voice of the entire student body. They have recently emailed a survey to all students about the current grading system. It takes less than a minute to complete, it's only 5 questions long, and participation is key.
Aware that there's a survey online that was given out recently by the SGA program asking for your feedback on this very issue.
I was not aware of that, but I'm going to look back to my email and look at it just so I can be more involved with the campus decisions as well.
I spoke with Vice President of Academic Affairs, Adriana Machoni, who went into more detail.
We're aiming to get about 10,000 responses. Right now we're almost close to 3,000. We've got about 2,600 and some responses. So we're on a good roll, but of course we need more, so we want to try to get the word out as much as possible. We want people to keep responding and giving us their feedback. The student, I'm sure you've noticed, plus and minuses, they can skew your GPA all over the place, especially when there's not a lot of consistency, depending on, if a professor uses it versus if a professor doesn't use it. One can be higher than a 93. If a professor doesn't use the plus-minus grading system in one class and you get a 91, that's great. If you get a 93 and the professor uses the plus-minus grading system, your 93 just became less in value than your 91. It's looking like we're going to be pursuing some change as of now with the survey results, because people who are saying they're fully against the plus-minus system is at 44.4%.
I spoke with 3 professors who all said that they like the current system and were under the impressions that the students did too. But if the students motion for a change, they won't contest it.
Until any changes officially occur, make sure to study hard for that upcoming exam. Stephanie Joy for Panther Report.
The diversity of reptiles and amphibians is high in Georgia. GSU's University Center Gallery will show a special photographic exhibit that will highlight the different challenges these creatures face while trying to maintain in their habitat. The exhibit will be available until November 16th. Again, that's in the University Center Gallery, room 346.
While on the subject of entertaining events, Cirque du Soleil's Totem is here in Atlanta. The acrobatic tale of how mankind has evolved began showing in Atlantic Station on October 26th and will remain in the area until December 30th. So you have about 6 weeks left to see the show. Tickets can be purchased on the Cirque du Soleil website.
With different meal options on campus that are quickly prepared and often high in calories, students are beginning to choose healthier options. Caitlin Leonard has more on this story.
Living a healthy lifestyle is a challenge for most students. The phrase freshman 15 has to come from somewhere, right? So how do you stay healthy at Georgia State?
If I don't have time to make my lunch, I'll maybe stop by Willie's and get just a taco and not eat the chips, or get some like sushi made with the brown rice. A lot of times I'll try to walk around campus from class to class instead of taking the bus to get a little more activity in between classes.
Students with a meal plan at either Piedmont North or Freshman Hall can go online to obtain a weekly menu. Each food item is labeled as meatless, vegan, gluten-free, heart-healthy, or complex carb. In general, it is best to stay away from almost all vending machines. The options they provide are typically unhealthy, and it is easy to consume most of your daily sugars and carbs in just a few vending machines, snacks, and drinks. A bottle of Coke is 250 calories, and a Twix candy bar is 280 calories. That's a total of 530 calories. The one exception is the healthy vending machine located across from Panther Pizza in the University Center. It's important for every student to broaden their knowledge on nutrition.
Opt for healthier grilled options at restaurants, filling your plate with half vegetables or salad at the dining hall with a side of protein, chicken, fish, beans, tofu, and then a side of whole grain.
We all know staying healthy on campus is not an easy task, but with all the resources GSU has to offer, there should be no reason why you can't eat right and exercise. Caitlin Leonard for Panther Report.
Georgia Tech has launched an app for iPhone and iPod Touch users that students can utilize on Georgia Tech's campus. The app was designed by students to assist them with tasks such as locating the next shuttle, counting calories and meals offered on campus, and reserving a library book. The app went through a series of tests before being ready for download. Creators of the app are now seeking feedback from current users in order to enhance its features to better accommodate students' needs.
A new organization that caters to non-religious students is beginning to take shape on campus. Catherine Witherspoon spoke to some of the group members and founder to learn more about it.
Despite being such a diverse campus, Georgia State does not have an organization that caters to non-religious students. However, a group of students are looking to change that, and they call themselves the Secular Panthers.
We're an organization for non-religious students and also to do service projects and really advance the cause of non-religion and keeping religion out of the public space. And we also we want to have a social organization for people who aren't religious because, you know, Baptist students can go to the Baptist Student Union, Muslim students can go to the Muslim organizations, but we don't really have a place for non-religious students to go and just, you know, be themselves.
I want people to know that we're here and that we are trying to spread the message of objective analysis of any system of belief.
The Secular Panthers arise on campus at an interesting time, with Christian evangelists spotted all over campus. In recent weeks, the Secular Panther received a lot of attention from a photo that surfaced on Reddit.com. That photo, shot on campus, had a Christian evangelist and a student that was a non-religious student mocking him in the background. That particular photo allows the Secular Panthers to receive 10 additional members, now having a total of 36 members.
We'd like to host debates here. You know, we'd like to just have these discussions with people because we're not trying to convert anybody to atheism or agnosticism. We just want people to think.
We're going to have debates, we're going to have discussions, but at the same time, our whole message, our entire message is we don't care what you believe, we don't want you to care what we believe either. But if you want to discuss it, we're going to discuss it.
The Secular Panthers are currently awaiting to be chartered and recognized by Georgia State as an official campus organization. Once the group is officially chartered, they plan to affiliate with the Secular Student Alliance. I'm Catherine Witherspoon, Panther Report.
Gas prices are increasing after Superstorm Sandy. Due to issues with fuel deliveries and lack of electricity, gas has become a commodity, resulting in 3-hour waits, gas reaching up to $6 per gallon, and a limit of how much gas customers can purchase at a time. Speaking of the aftermath of Sandy, many residents near the New York and New Jersey area are seeking shelter through the kindness of strangers. Many displaced victims of the superstorm have been welcomed by other residents who were not greatly affected by the storm.
Some mixed news on the employment front. The Labor Department reports show that the economy added 171,000 jobs in October, but it wasn't enough to keep the unemployment rate from ticking up from 7.8% to 7.9%. Still, the numbers reflect across-the-board job growth in almost all sectors except the government, which is still losing jobs. The reason for the uptick? More unemployed people who dropped off the rolls are now looking for more work.
International news: the Egyptian government decided to postpone a 10 p.m. curfew by 1 week. The curfew is intended to save energy and bring order into the nearby streets. Officials decided to postpone the new rule due to the large backlash received from those who disagree with the 10 p.m. curfew.
Cuba denounced the American diplomatic mission Friday for what it considers rebellious activities, including illegally giving classes inside the walls of the U.S. interest section and providing internet service without permission. Cuba officials saw these acts as designed to undermine the government of Cuba's current president, Raul Castro. Israel is now legalizing the use of medical marijuana with about 10,000 patients who currently need it. The number has grown from once being only a few hundred patients back in 2005. The medical marijuana industry is expanding, fueled by Israel's research in medicine and technology and its encouragement by the Israeli government.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in to GSTV. We are the Executive Board members of Student Government Association, and my name is Marcus Kernizan, your president.
I'm Taylor Briggs, the Executive Vice President.
My name is Christian Hill, Vice President of Student Services.
My name is Adriana Mishoni. I'm your Vice President of Academic Affairs.
My name is Theo Mohamuza. I'm your Vice President of Budget and Finance.
I'm Danielle Kleiman, and I am your Vice President of Public Relations.
My name is Jarrell Abrams, and I am your Vice President of Student Life.
Are you worried about your schedule getting in the way of the educational and cutting-edge seminars that Georgia State University has to offer? Well, we have great news for you. Starting this semester, these seminars will be available online thanks to GSTV and a partnership from us here at Student Government Association. From the prospect of resume building to the distinctive keynote speakers, we know that these seminars will help enrich your student experience.
Thanks for tuning in, and remember, our student government sit-in meetings will be broadcast live on GSTV every other Thursday at 7 p.m. Go Panthers!
Hey everyone, this was a big weekend in sports for GSU, but unfortunately our Panthers failed to impress during their last home game on Saturday. GSU fell to the Villanova Monarchs 53-27, making them 1-9 for the season. Ouch. The program's head coach Bill Curry began his last game at the Georgia Dome emotional and optimistic. But due to the same mistakes that have hindered the team throughout the season, Curry left disappointed yet again in his team's performance. The Monarchs made minimal mistakes and cruised down the field after the Panthers failed to catch quarterback Taylor Heineke's passes, especially when the Monarchs answered back with 3 interceptions. Even though Heineke threw for 351 yards and 3 touchdowns, it wasn't enough to compensate for the fumbles, interceptions, and anticipation of the Panther defense. However, junior Albert Wilson had a tremendous game, setting 2 school records, one of which was a 100-yard kickoff return. With 10 minutes left in the game, quarterback Ben McLean made a pass to Wilson, which turned into a record-setting 93-yard touchdown catch. Despite the loss, GSU honored 12 football seniors and commemorated Bill Curry's home game in a number of ways. The GSU band spelled out his name at the end of their performance. His wife participated in the game's coin toss, and the team's practice locker room facility was named after him to honor his pioneering of GSU's first football program.
On November 3rd, 2012, the Panthers had their final home game of the 2012 football season. Not only was this the final home game for 12 seniors, but it was the final home football game for Bill Curry as head coach.
Oh man, it's an honor, like really, to be coached by a legendary coach like that who's been around football for years, and to learn so much from him. Like every day he talks to us hands-on, and just the experience and just everything he brings to the team and to the organization, it was just great.
Bill Curry has been head coach since Georgia State's inaugural season in 2010 and has been the face of Georgia State football ever since. Before leading a rallied-up Panther football team onto the field, Bill Curry was surprised with the honor of the football locker rooms renamed the William Bill Curry locker rooms. Although the Panthers came out fired up, the team struggled against a blazing Old Dominion team, leaving the first half trailing 32-0. The Panthers came into the second half with new life, scoring on their first drive with a touchdown reception from Emmanuel Obehi and scoring on a kickoff return by Albert Wilson. Though the Panthers were able to score a total of 4 touchdowns in the second half, they still suffered a loss of 27-52.
You can write this down. Georgia State football is going to be a great success. It'll just be later than I had anticipated. We've got good players that are coming back. We're losing some good ones, but there are an awful lot of good ones coming back. And we'll get us a terrific football coach, and the program will prosper.
Since Bill Curry has been the head football coach of the Georgia State Panthers, the record has been 8-11 at home. Next week, the Panthers will face off the University of Maine at Maine.
ending Bill Curry's career as head coach. I'm Vanessa Vidican, and this is Panther Report.
Another first for you in GSU sports also happened Saturday. GSU grabbed its first Sun Belt championship, ushered in by the Panthers women cross country team in Kentucky this weekend. Catherine Showalters led the team by completing her 5K run in 17 minutes and 41.1 seconds, creating the 5-point edge that propelled GSU in the #1 spot, beating Arkansas State 52-58. And GSU's sand volleyball team had its inaugural exhibition game at Florida State University this weekend. GSU held its own against the Florida State Seminoles, winning 16 sets against FSU's 32. GSU assistant coach Beth Van Fleet was pleased with the team's performance and thinks that playing strongly against the third best team in the conference is a great indicator for the actual season, which will begin spring 2013. The men's soccer team finished their season on a good note, winning both games 2-1 against George Mason and Stetson. The Panthers went into overtime and were tied until redshirt junior Michael Newell scored, ending the game 2-1. The Panthers ended their season 6-12. Also, GSU basketball is almost here, and so far the Panthers have won both exhibition games against Life University and Albany State University. They open their regular season against 8th-ranked Duke this Friday at 7 p.m. at Cameron Indoor Stadium. In local sports, the Atlanta Falcons did it again, pulling off a 13-19 win against the Dallas Cowboys, making them undefeated at 8-0. The Falcons will face their New Orleans Saints rivals next Sunday. The Atlanta Hawks also pulled off a win against 2012 finals competitors, the OKC, 104-95. That's all for your sports beat. Until next time, I'm Ariane Johnson, Panther Report.
That's all for your Panther Report news. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode.
Don't forget to check us out on Channel 91 in University Housing and on our YouTube page, GSTV Panther Report, every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
And be sure to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Panther Report. I'm Cody Long.
And I'm Balan Ali. Have a good night.